Good morning, everyone. This is mathematics class of grade 8, and this is my lecture number 2 of chapter number 5, data handling. In this lecture, first of all, we will be recapitulating the concepts like grouped data, how to group the data, what is this grouped data. We will revise this concept. Then we will study or recapitulate the concept of histogram. What is this histogram? How is it different from bar graph? That is, what are the differences between histogram and bar graph? And then I will be introducing the topic pie chart, that is circle graph. Here in this lecture, apart from recalling the concept of grouped data, bar graph, double bar graph, histogram, I will give you the introduction of circle graphs or pie charts. So let us begin this lecture by recalling few concepts and few points that are related to the concepts. Data that is available to us is in an unorganized form, that is raw data. Here it is written that the data which is available to us is present basically in unorganized form. It will be unorganized form, and that data is called raw data. So if that given data or the information, like I discussed in the previous lecture, information which is available to us, that is like marks scored by the students of your class in English unit test, and runs made by a batsman in the last 10 test matches, all this information is available to us in an unorganized form. This is basically raw data. And to interpret a useful information or a useful conclusion, or to interpret, if we want to interpret from the data, we need to organize the data. So we need to organize the data in a systematic manner and then interpret it accordingly. That is, data which is available to us is an unorganized form, and we need to organize this data in a systematic manner and then we can conclude accordingly. After that, we need to know that data is represented graphically to give a clear idea of what it represents. We need to represent the data graphically, like by making bar graphs, by bar graphs, and in the previous classes we have learnt about pictographs, and we have learnt also about histograms. So all these are the ways in which we can represent the data graphically. So there are certain ways using which we can organize our raw data. So what are those ways? Using frequency distribution table, we can organize our data by making bar graphs, double bar graphs, histograms, pie charts. All these are the ways of organizing our raw data. So this is a table basically. This table basically consists of telemarks, and this table is an example of frequency distribution table. Here this table basically represents the subjects liked by or if a survey has been conducted and these are the subjects which are being liked by a few group of students, and here I have shown using telemarks as it is a frequency distribution table. And we know that what is frequency? Frequency gives the number of times that a particular entry occurs. So number of students gives you the frequency. So number of students for art subjects, those who are liking art subject are 7. Mathematics, the number of students, those who are liking mathematics subjects are 5. Likewise for science and English. And I think you all know how to make these telemarks. Like I have the data 7. So how will I make? I will be making 4 lines, and then this will be the 5th line, that is 5. This complete represents 5, and then 6 and 7. Likewise for every subject I have made the telemarks and number of students are being represented. So the number of tallies before each subject gives the number of students who like that particular subject. This is an example of frequency distribution table. Now this is an example of bar graph. As the name indicates, bar graph is basically used to display the information with the help of bars, and the height of the bars is proportional to the respective values. So bar graph is basically a display of information using bars of uniform width, and their height is proportional to the respective values. Likewise, for these academic years, these bars are showing the values. Their height is being corresponding to the respective values. Like for 2005 and 2006 years, 250 students were there in class 8th, and in 2006 and 2007, 300 students were there in class 8th. Likewise, this height of the bars is proportional to the respective values. These are the values, and this x-axis shows the academic years. This is an example of double bar graph. Double bar graph is basically used for the comparison of data, and in this double bar graph, I have tried to show you the two sets of data simultaneously. Using double bar graph, we can show two sets of data simultaneously. Like you can see two bars here for this particular child. Likewise, for every child, basically the test marks are being shown for every child, test 1 and test 2. So we can easily compare the data or the marks. We can easily compare the marks. Now next comes the grouping of data. How to group the data, and what is the need of grouping the data? If we can make or represent using frequency distribution table, using bar graph, using double bar graph, then what is the need of grouping the data? Basically, grouping of data is required when we have large number of quantities. At that time, we need to group the data, and then we need to first of all, we need to group the observation and then make the table, and that table is known as grouped frequency distribution table. Same way we need to make the table, telemarks will also be made, but the main thing or the difference is we need to group the observation, that is we need to group the data first. Let us consider the following marks. Out of 50 obtained in mathematics by 60 students of class 8, these are the marks obtained by the students. And if we need to make the frequency distribution table, then how will I make? This is a very large data. The data is available to us in a large quantity. So what I will be doing, I will be looking at the minimum value and the maximum value, and then accordingly I will be making the groups. The minimum value here is this 5 I can see, and the maximum value is 50. So accordingly I can make the groups of 0 to 5, or it can be done in the intervals, class intervals 0 to 10. So 0 to 10 will be better, otherwise 0 to 5 can also be done. So like this I have made the table, I have grouped the data 0 to 10, 10 to 20, likewise I have made the group still 50 to 60. Why? The reason why I have included this 50 to 60 is, as I told you earlier also, 0 is the lower class limit of this interval. This 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, all these are class intervals. 0 is the lower class in limit, 10 is the upper class limit, and this 10 will be included in the next interval. That is the highest, that is the upper class limit of every interval will be included in the next interval. Likewise, this 50, because I told you that we have seen that in the data the maximum value is 50. So to include this 50, and I know that 50 will be included in the next interval. So this 50 will be included in this interval. That is why I need to make this one more interval for 50 as 50 to 60. So 0 to 10 interval will have the values from 0 to 9, and there are two values. So I have written 2 here. 10 to 20 interval, how many values we have? 10. Likewise, for every group or class interval, I have divided or I have calculated the values, and then accordingly I have made the telemarks, and then I get to know the frequency. And this total should match with the total of the total number of students as it is given to us. So data represented in this manner is said to be grouped, as we have grouped the data. So this is called grouped frequency distribution table. Simple as this. Now each of the groups 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30, these are called class interval or simply a class. And what is this class interval? Class interval, I told you, basically this is the class interval. Here it should be the definition of lower class limit and upper class limit only. This class interval will not be included. So in the class interval 10 to 20, 10 is the lower class limit and 20 is called the upper class limit. And width or size. What is this width or size? The difference between the upper class limit and lower class limit is called the width or size of the interval. As I told you, as we have taken the interval, suppose 10, 20 to 30, I need to find the width of this table or size of the table. Then upper limit is 30. 30 minus 20 will give you 10. So 10 is the width or size of the given distribution table. Next comes the concept of histogram. Group of observations are represented on the horizontal axis. In histogram, class intervals are represented on the horizontal axis, that is the x-axis. The height of the bars show the frequency of the class interval. In histogram, basically, the height of the bars show the frequency of the class interval, and groups of observations, that is the class intervals, are represented on the horizontal axis. And there is no gap between the bars as there is no gap between the class intervals. And the graphical representation of the data in this manner is called histogram. So basically, what is the difference between bar graphs and histograms, or what are the differences between bar graphs and histograms? Basically, bar graph is used for ungrouped data, and histogram, you have seen that we have grouped the data and then we need to make the histogram. This I will be showing in further slides. And in bar graph, you must have seen that there are gaps between the bars. But in histograms, there is no gap between the bars, as it is also written over here. There is no gap between the bars as there is no gap between the class intervals. We have taken the interval 0 to 10, 10 to 20, continuous intervals we have taken. So that is why there will be no gap between the bars. So these are the differences between bar graphs and histograms. Bar graph is basically used for ungrouped data. Histograms are used for grouped data. There are gaps between the bars in bar graphs, but there is no gap between the adjacent rectangles or between the adjacent bars in histograms. These are the differences between bar graphs and histograms. Now this is the frequency table for the group data. Here, while making histogram, we are not supposed to show telemarks. If it is asked grouped frequency distribution table, then you need to show the telemarks. Otherwise, you need to make the groups, group the observation and then show the frequency directly, like I have done this. And this is an example of bar graph. You can see here, number of students have been taken along y-axis. This is your x-axis, and this x-axis represents marks of the students. Now from 0 to 10 interval, the marks of the students, frequency is 2, so I have marked here 2. 10 to 20, frequency is 10, so I have marked here 10. 20 to 30, frequency is 21, so likewise I have marked the frequency according to the class interval, and there is no gap between the bars. You can see it very clearly. All the bars are joined to one another. So this is an example of histogram. This is how you are supposed to make the histogram. Now coming to the main topic of today's lecture, that is pie chart or circle graph. Dear children, you must have seen data represented in the circular form. Let us see an example. Data, how we need to represent the data in the circular form, or what is this circle graph or pie chart. This you must have seen. This is known as circle graph or pie chart. Here I have taken the example of composition of milk. What all is present in the milk, that is what I have taken here using the, I have taken an example to show you all. This is protein. Likewise, different minerals, fat, how much percentage of lactose is present, minerals, fat, how much percentage of protein is present. Likewise, this is an example showing the composition of milk, and different sectors have been made in this. So this is in the form of circle, that is why it is a circle graph. The circle graphs are basically called pie charts or pie graphs. Okay, so let us see. It means you are supposed to make pie chart or circle graph of this form, but how to make that we will be learning in the future further slides. So let us see few points regarding this pie chart. A pie chart shows the relationship between a whole and its parts. So as you must have seen that the whole circle is divided into sectors, and size of each sector is proportional to the information represented by it. Like lactose was present in some percentage, so that one sector, size of that sector is represented by that much percentage. Likewise for protein I have shown you. Likewise for minerals or fat, there are different percentages, so different size of the sectors are there, and the size of each sector is proportional to the information represented by it. So basically a pie chart shows the relationship between a whole circle and its parts. The circle is divided into sectors, and size of each sector is proportional to the information it represents. This is what I told you. Pie charts are also known as circle graphs. The total angle at the center of the circle, this all we know. What is the total angle at the center of the circle? That is 360 degree. And the central angle of the sectors will be a fraction of 360 degree. Accordingly, we need to find the central angle for different sectors or whatsoever it is the information given to us, and that will be a fraction of 360 degree, because we know the total angle at the center of the circle is 360 degree. So these are the important points. Let us see them again. A pie chart shows the relationship between whole circle and its parts. The circle is divided into sectors, and the size of each sector is proportional to the information it represents. Pie charts are also known as circle graphs. The total angle of a circle is 360 degree, and the central angle for the sectors will be a fraction of 360 degree. Let us see this with the help of an example. It will be more clear to you with the help of this example. Here I have taken a table which shows the favorite flavors of ice cream for the students of a school, and it is given to us in the percentage form. Like flavors I have taken chocolate, vanilla and other flavors are there, and percentage of the students preferring the flavors are 50%. Those who like chocolate flavor, that is 50%, 25%, and other flavors also 25%. So I will be telling you how to make a pie chart for this data. Let us see now. First of all, you are supposed to find the central angle of the sectors. As I told you, the central angle of the sectors will be a fraction of 360 degree. So for different flavors, whatsoever it is given to us in the question, that is chocolate, vanilla and other flavors, you need to find that angle for that particular flavor, and then you need to draw it in a circle. That is a pie chart. So what I have done here, chocolate 50% students were there, vanilla 25%, and other flavors 25%. First of all, as percentage is given to me, so I know that what do you mean by a percentage? What is percentage? When the denominator is 100. So 50 over 100 I have converted into fraction, that is 1 over 2. Here 25 over 100 it is 1 over 4. 25 over 100 it is 1 over 4. As it is given to me in percentage, that is why I need to convert it into fraction. Otherwise, I need to directly calculate the angle, and then you will be able to make the angles in the pie chart. So 50% has been converted into fraction, it will be 1 over 2, 25% 1 over 4, again 25% 1 over 4. Now fraction of 360 degree. As I told you, the total angle at the center of a circle is 360 degree, and we need to find the central angle which will be a fraction of 360 degree. So 1 over 2 into 360 degree, you will be getting 180 degree. Like 1 over 4 into 360 degree, it will be 90 degree. 1 over 4 into 360 degree, it will be 90 degree. So what we have done, this was the data given to us. As it is given to us in percentage, so I have converted into fraction. Then I need to find out the part of this fraction in terms of 360 degree. So that is 1 by 2 into 360 degree, because the total angle at the center of a circle is 360 degree. So I will be getting 180 degree angle, 90 degree angle and 90 degree angle. Now I need to make it on a circle. So what I have done, first of all, you are supposed to make a circle of any radius. Mark its center as O. I have taken its center as O. And radius I have taken OA. And the sector, the angle of the sector for chocolate is 180 degree. So using protractor, you are supposed to draw this angle 180 degree. And we know it can be easily made. Basically, the angles are made in the clockwise direction. It can be made in the anti-clockwise direction, but ideally when you will be observing in questions, you will find that angles are always made in the clockwise direction. So here you can take vanilla flavor also. I have taken other flavors. Here vanilla flavor. This angle is 90 degree, this angle is 90 degree, and I have made 180 degree using a protractor first, and then 90 degree angle will be made by keeping this AB as base. Using the protractor, you are supposed to make the angles and you will be able to get the pie chart. The steps are, first of all, draw a circle with any radius, mark its center as O and radius OA, then make the angle for the first information, that is chocolate, it was 180 degree. So I have made for chocolate 180 degree, and then using the protractor you can make the other angles and you will be able to get this pie chart. This is your pie chart. So how to create the pie charts? For creating a pie chart, the following steps needs to be followed. For each list of the item or activity, calculate the fraction or part which it represents. Like for chocolate, it was 50%. So we have calculated in it fraction first, and then we represented it as a fraction of 360 degree and we got 180 degree. Then convert each fraction into degrees by multiplying it with 360 degree as we have done. Then draw a circle and divide it into sectors. The central angle of each sector is equal to the fraction of 360 degree. Draw a circle with any convenient radius. Mark its center O and radius OA. The angle of the sector for chocolate is 360 degree. The angle of the sector for chocolate is 180 degree. Use the protractor to draw the angle AOB, that is equal to 360 degree. And then you will be able to make the remaining sectors. I think everyone knows how to make the angles using the protractor. So simple, you need to make the 90 degree angle or whatsoever will be the value you will be getting after multiplying it by 360 degree. So let us come to the homework part. So dear children, in this lecture, first of all, we have recalled the difference between the bar graph and histogram. We have seen how to make histogram. And then after that we have learnt the pie chart concept, that is how to make pie charts or circle graph. Basically you are supposed to represent the values of these sectors as a fraction of 360 degree, and we need to draw the circle of any radius and mark its center as O, and radius you can take OA. I have taken OA. You can mark OP also. Then after that you need to make the first angle of the sector. Like in the example I have seen for chocolate, that is 180 degree. I have made that angle. Then in clockwise direction you need to keep on making the angles using the protractor, and you will be getting your pie chart. So you are supposed to complete question number 1 to question number 5 of exercise 5.2 in homework notebook. And you will find that question number 1 you will be able to do in the book. So question number 1 is to be done in the book. Rest all questions are to be done in the notebook. Now let us see the solutions of exercise 5.1. The shoppers who come to a departmental store are marked as, these are the shoppers who come to a departmental store. The given list tells the shoppers who came during the first hour in the morning. This is the list of the shoppers who came in the first hour in the morning. For this we need to make a frequency distribution table using telemarks, and we need to make a bar graph also. So this is the frequency distribution table. So what I have done here, I have taken the shoppers, telemarks I have taken, number of shoppers. So I have divided as it is already given to us in the question that there are categories of women, men, boys and girls. So I have written the shoppers like this. Telemarks, I counted the number of women who visited. So I found it 28. For men it is 15, for boys it is 5, and for girls it was 12. And total I found that 60 people visited during the first hours in the morning. So I have made the frequency distribution table by counting and getting to know the frequency or number of shoppers. Now I need to represent it on a bar graph. So what I have done, I have made two axes. This is x-axis, y-axis. Here I have shown shoppers, here number of shoppers. So this point is 0. Now for women, how many women visited? 28. So I have written, I have taken the scale as 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You can take it at the gap of 10 also. You can take 10, 20, 30, 40 likewise. It is up to you. So I have taken it in terms of 5, 5 gap. I have taken 5, 10, 15 likewise. So 28 women visited. So I have shown like this 28. Men were 15. So I have shown like this 15. Boys were 5, so I have shown. Girls were 12, so this point is 10, so it will be 12. I have shown here. Or you need to basically verify from this side. This is what I was showing from this side, so that it is clear to you. Otherwise you need to verify from mark it from this side. So like this you need to represent the bar graph. As there is no gap between the bars, so this is a bar graph. And it is for ungrouped data. Now question number 3 is the weekly wages in rupees of 30 workers in a factory are. These are the weekly wages of 30 workers in a factory. Using telemarks, make a frequency table with intervals as 800 to 810, 810 to 820 and so on. It means we need to group our data. This is class interval and we need to group our data using the intervals 800 to 810. If it would not have been mentioned here, the intervals, then we would have taken it according to our own choice. But here as it is mentioned, then we need to take these specific intervals. So likewise, I have made the frequency distribution table or grouped frequency distribution. So this is 800 to 810. How many values, how many entries were there? 3. So I have written 3. 810 to 820, 2 entries. 820 to 831. Likewise, the maximum value is 9 and the minimum value is 1. So total you found it 30, as it is same as total number of workers. So our this frequency is correct. And 810 will not be included here. It will be included in this interval. As I told you, the upper class limit is included in the next interval. So likewise, you can make the frequency table, grouped frequency table, I should say, because we have grouped the observation as it was the requirement of the question. Now this is question number 4 basically. Using this data which you have made in question number 3, you are supposed to represent it on using histograph. Basically, you are supposed to make histogram. So, as I told you that in histogram, there is no gap between the bars because there is no gap between the intervals. So, this is along this side, I have taken wages. Along this side, I have taken number of workers. This is 0. And here I have taken 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 till 10. You can because the values were very close, like 1, then I got 3, 4, 5, 9 was the maximum value. So I have taken like this 1, 2, 3, 4 till 10. Now between 0 to 800, I did not take any value. It means I have skipped the values from 0 to 800. So what do I need to do? I need to make this jagged line. This is your jagged line. This shows that I am not, this has been used along this horizontal line to indicate that we are not showing the numbers between 0 to 800. I am not showing the numbers from between 0 to 800. So this jagged line is to be made. After that, from 800 to 810, the frequency was 3. Again, 810 to 20, it was 2. 820 to 830, it was 1. 830 to 840, it was 9. Likewise, it is easy to make. Then I have made the histogram. So frequency distribution table is to be made in the notebook. Bar graph or histogram, if it is required, according to the requirement of the question, they are supposed to be made on the graph paper and then it is to be pasted in the notebook. So likewise, you can make the histogram. And as the class interval does not start from 0, so we will put a jagged line which shows that there is no number between 0 to 800, or we are not showing the numbers between 0 to 800. That is why we need to place that line, jagged line. So, dear children, I hope with the help of these concepts which I have taught you in this lecture, you will definitely be able to complete your homework. Thank you so much.